We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. The clerk will read the roll.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
I'm so sorry. My computer locked up for a minute.
no,
I'm here.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Omobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
All members are present.
Thank you so much. Before we begin our meeting, definitely want to take an opportunity because it is so appropriate for us just to have a moment of silence for our very own Councilman Rich Swirsky. So just going to ask if we could do a moment of silence and you can reflect on his life, his work, his contributions he made here on council and to the city of Akron. Thank you so much. At this time, we will be led in prayer by Pastor Marissa Sanders. Immediately following our prayer, I'm going to ask if Councilman McKittrick could lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Madam President, and good evening, everyone. Let's go ahead and bow our heads in a word of prayer. Lord Jesus, we thank you and praise you so much for this day. We thank you for getting us to this part of our day and ending it on another Monday council meeting. Father, we invite you into this meeting. I ask, Lord, that you would be with all those who are grieving and who are sad today, that you would give them hope, that you would give them an uplifted spirit and peace in their minds. Father, we pray for our city this evening, that your spirit will rest, that you'll bring clarity and love and unity, Lord. We lift up our mayor, his family, councilmen and women, and all those who are first responders and all those who are just running this city to be the best it can be. We just ask that you would lead us, that you will guide us, and show us how we can prepare this city for the next generation. Lord, we love you and we thank you. And it's in the name of Jesus I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Is there a motion to approve? Councilman Fusco?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Can we get a second? Councilman Freeman?
Second.
Roll call?
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Omobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The minutes pass 12-0.
Before you, we have the consent agenda. Motion to approve. Councilman Fusco?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can we get a second? Councilwoman Omobian?
Second.
Roll call?
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hemer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes 12-0.
We do have two public hearings scheduled for this evening. Clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 7th, 2021, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a Type A child care home at 2414 Nicholas Avenue.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Sean Shropshire is requesting permission to establish a child daycare home, Type A, at this location. The proposed daycare, also known as SWS Childcare, would occupy 2 bedrooms and television room of the 1-story, 1,290 square foot ranch dwelling. Facility would provide services and activities for up to 12 kids at a time, ranging from 2 to 11 years of age. The daycare would be operated daily from 6 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. There will be no overnight stays. The property contains a rear yard outdoor play area and is fenced. The petitioner has stated that she currently operates a Type B daycare, and the daycare is in full compliance with the state. Proposed use should not be intrusive to the neighborhood because the property is near a dead-end street. The outdoor play area is fenced, and the majority of the activities are conducted indoors. This property is well maintained. Providing quality daycare services is beneficial to the entire city. And as such, the Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. We actually did not have anyone signed up to speak in favor or against this ordinance. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to poll the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Baylor?
Aye.
Weimer? Aye. Samples?
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable and we're asking for passage.
Thank you so much. Any objections on suspension of the rules? So seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I aware that the ward council representative is in favor of this. Had done some research, met with the folks, and also that the planning department and committee or commission is in favor as well. So we're recommending approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hemer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, June 7th, 2021, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct an oversized garage at 49 Jewett Street.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Alan Hill is seeking approval to construct an accessory structure in the rear yard of his residence. Proposed structure measures 38 feet in width, 28 feet in length, and 27 feet in height. The proposed 2-story structure will be situated at the rear of the lot. The structure would be clad in vinyl siding to match the house. The front would feature a wide overhead door for storage of 2 vehicles on the south half, a smaller set of doors on the north half to allow for the storage of lawn and household tools and equipment. Storage would also be included. The second floor would provide 905 square feet of additional living space for the owner and would include a half bathroom. This dense neighborhood on the periphery of Suma Akron City Hospital is characterized by homes on typically small, narrow lots. The petitioner purchased his residence from the owner of the adjacent properties on both sides, and he has since made substantial improvements to the property. In October 2020, he purchased the small rear lot from the city of Akron. The planning staff recognizes the investment the petitioner has made in improving and stabilizing this neighborhood. The proposed accessory structure is an attractive, creative solution to provide personal storage as well as additional living space and will add value to the property and the neighborhood. Office of Integrated Development Planning Commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. I do see that we have Alan Hill, the petitioner, on with us, and also Zach Cole, both wanting to speak in favor of this ordinance. So just before both of you bring forth your comments, I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by a member of our law department.
Okay, those wishing to testify, could you please take yourself off mute and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please answer, I do.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Hill?
Yeah, thank you. I just like to share a couple comments. So I've lived here for 7 years now and enjoy the neighborhood, enjoy what we've seen over the last couple of years partnering with Zach on some personal projects and homes here, as well as with the well. A few things though that my residence does lack is just somewhere to park vehicles. We're currently using a shared driveway or street space to park, as well as luckily I have neighbors who let me store things in their garage and storage areas because I have none. So this garage is really just a space to store things and have covered parking. And it also will provide some living space that my family can grow into. Right now I'm sitting here, you can see I'm at my dining room table and my living room's behind me. And as my kids get older, I want to create a space that they want to hang out with and have friends over. And really that's what I want this space to be. What a lot of people can do with like a finished basement or extension of their own house, I can't do without a space like that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cole?
Good evening, everybody. I guess I'd advocate on two levels, one as resident and neighbor. I think it only adds to the context of the community and the neighborhood. I don't think it's taking away anything. I think it's a good thing and I'm for it. The second is just an advocate as the executive director of the Well CDC. I think as we seek to create a mixed income community, I think creating projects like this or allowing projects like this are really beneficial, as Alan has an opportunity to live really anywhere he wants, but is choosing to put roots down in the Middlebury community. I just think it's to our benefit to be able to create spaces and create opportunities where families can grow in place and see themselves staying in the community for a long period of time. So appreciate the opportunity to give some input, and I'll talk to everyone soon.
Okay, thank you so much. So at this time, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the pleasure of the committee?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Baylor?
Aye.
Gamer?
Aye.
Samples?
Aye.
Yes, I think that was an aye. The report of the committee is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules. I see that Ward Councilperson Sharon Connor has her hand up, and the committee is in favor of this.
Okay, thank you so much. Are there any objections on suspension of the rules? So seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilwoman Connor?
Unmute.
Sorry. I totally approve of Mr. Hill getting his new garage. I think it's, again, an added great addition to the community. And while he's here, I'd like to say congratulations to Mr. Cole and the Well. They reached their goal of 60 houses in 60 months in record-breaking 4 years. So congratulations to them also for the great work in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Connor. Councilman Fusco, anything more?
Nothing more to add. It's we're committee approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0.
Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
Request a committee on item number 3 is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Yes, we had asked for time on this. There's a 39-page. This reflects both a cooperative agreement and a grant agreement between the Development Finance Authority and Summit County and Akron Children's Hospital in the city of Akron. About $1.4 million of JED funds will be utilized from the city side in terms of improvements that would include the demolition of the parking barn that's close to this property, abatement and demolition of a 2-story building on North High Street, also going to shore up North High Street as well. But it also outlines what the Akron Children's Hospital, as well as the Summit County and the Development Finance Authority, all the responsibilities of everyone. We asked for time to give council an opportunity to read this over, and based on our findings, we recommend approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 12-0.
Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you. The report on item number 4 is adverse.
Okay, the report on item number 4 is adverse report. Councilman Fusco, did you have any further comments? I don't know if ward council person did.
Yes, just that, yeah, there was opposition in the neighborhood to this potential development. And I know that the ward council person spoke against this proposal this afternoon. And so based on that, we're going to recommend disapproval or adverse report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the committee's report is adverse. So we're going to do a roll call on an adverse report.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The motion for an adverse report passes 12-0.
Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is to file item numbers 5, 6, and 7. Okay. The report of the committee is for time on the balance of the agenda.
Okay, time will be granted. We'll continue with the rest of our old business. Public service, Councilwoman Samples.
Continue time.
Time will be granted. That concludes old legislation. We'll now move into new legislation for this evening. And we are going to take item number 3 out of order. So clerk will read in item number 3.
Item number 3, offered by President Somerville. Resolution congratulating Bob Keith on the occasion of his retirement and thanking him for his service to the city of Akron and to Akron City Council and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
so much I could say. The committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections on suspension of the rules this evening? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilman Freeman?
This is celebrating many years of service that Council Clerk Bob Keith and at one time Councilman Bob Keith has offered the city, and just want to wish him best. And I would just defer to you, Madam President, if you would have any comments you'd like to add.
Thank you so much, Councilman Freeman. So again, Bob, we just want to congratulate you just on your many years of service. Thank you for all that you have done. And I've told you that I'm going to probably continue to maybe call on you and just tap into some of your wisdom. And so I always appreciated that. So again, thank you so much for your service to council. We're wishing you best wishes and best luck on the next chapter. So thank you so much. I see that we have a few hands raised. So Councilman Malik.
I think Councilman Fusco was first.
Councilman Fusco.
Thank you. I would request that the mayor go before me.
Yeah, I see the mayor has his hand up now. Okay, there we go. Mayor Horgan.
Politely raising my hand. Thank you for the deferral. Bob, listen, congratulations. We spent a lot of time on city council, but I think your true nature of public service had to do with, your longtime business owner in the city of Akron too, and really cared about your residents as customers and treated them, with respect and listened and had a strong advocacy for all of that. So congratulations again on a fine career in public service, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. Just to say, echo congratulations as well, Bob. I'm going to miss having a fellow St. V person to hang out with and enjoy all of the resolutions and talk about other schools. I'm going to miss that piece of it. But in all sincerity, though, appreciate your wit and humor. And I do remember, I mean, one of the big accomplishments, if I remember correctly, was, I believe, Northwest Community Center was constructed on your watch. And so that's a very, very big deal. And I appreciate hanging out and talking, and we'll miss you. Good luck. Congratulations, Bob. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Malik.
Thank you very much. I just want to echo the comments and thank you, Bob, on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of your beloved Ward 8 that you served so well for 11 years. I know everywhere I go in the ward, they talk about you, and in a way that I was reminded yesterday with the memorial service for Councilman Swirsky. You were doing a different form of community service first, and then became the council person. And I know that means a lot to a lot of people in the neighborhood. I know you obviously, that. And just want to thank you so much for, you're always willing to give advice, but you let us come to you. And, but if you sit down in that chair, you learn a lot just sitting on the other side of the desk from you. And I feel like I've learned an awful lot, and I'm sure we'll continue to bother you, but there's nothing that I have thrown at you that you haven't told me the story about how you handled it a decade ago. So, I just appreciate you so much and want to thank you for all of your service.
Councilwoman Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, Bob, I will miss you, but I told you I'm going to keep your number in my phone and bug you. I thank you for making my 7 years very enjoyable with your colorful sense of humor. And we didn't have a training manual, so everything that I really learned, Bob told me along the way. I never understood is all you need is 7 until Bob explained it to me. So I appreciate that. And I want you to remember to relax, enjoy your time off. Remember to enjoy the small things, but most importantly, Listen to Marilyn and you'll be okay.
Councilman Neal?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Sarah, he still needs your help. He's trying to talk and doesn't know how to take himself off mute. But hey, I caught that jab that Councilman. Oh, go ahead, sir.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm listening to you guys.
Well, I caught that jab that Councilman Fusco threw about being able to put resolutions in there and talk about other schools. Now, unfortunately, we didn't bring home the state championship, but it was a beautiful track season for Bookto and St. V girls because they went back and forth winning the different tournaments, and unfortunately, they made a pact that one of them was going to bring home the state championship over the weekend, and Bookto girls came up a few points short. St. V finished third, and I wouldn't bring that up because of the rich tradition of St. V, but because Councilman Fusco said that, and because I know Bob does, man, and the mayor, there's a whole lot of St. V folks here. I got to rub that in there. Bookto did finish first this time, but ahead, not first. But that being said, Bob, man, the thing I appreciate about you the most, man, is that you and I can always talk about anything, even the difficult things. I think we could have been known as Nostradamus because we even foresaw some of the things that were going to happen in some of our conversations. We talked about some of the things that were brewing. But man, like others said, I always appreciate your willingness just to share and just, hey, leave it for us to make a decision, but you would share your opinion on things. I'm gonna miss you, but like I said in my email, man, hey, I owe you. Come to the ward. We've got a nice little restaurant there at Edgar's that has a nice seat, so I owe you a dinner. And I mean that.
I'll take you up on it.
Yeah, I mean that, man. I look forward to it. Appreciate you.
All right.
Councilwoman Baylor?
Well, Bob, just thank you. You're just an all-around good guy, and you inhabit a wealth of knowledge, guidance, and you have an open door policy. I mean, I've come in and bugged you on several occasions, but you never let it bother you, and you were always available to try to help during the transition, as a council person. And you let me eat your candy and help myself to some of your goods in the office. And I appreciate that too, because a lot of times I came here hungry. But you've just been a good guy in the office, in the community. I mean, you welcome almost anybody that comes in your presence. You just have that welcoming spirit that just emanates from you. So thank you for just being who you are. And I'll be seeing you.
Okay, take you up on it.
All right.
Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Neal, did I miss a banner hanging ceremony for the Irish? But anyhow, no, Bob, thank you so much for your wisdom and guidance as becoming a new council person. Just like everybody said, I felt free to walk in your office anytime, and I appreciate that and all the help that you gave me. So enjoy your retirement or whatever you're doing, and take care. We'll talk. Thank you.
Councilwoman Amobian?
Thank you, Bob. Thank you so very much for the times we spent together, laughing and talking, particularly when you've been so nice to drop things off at my house when I couldn't get down there to get them.
Yeah.
Certainly enjoyed the conversations about your grandchildren and how well your kids are doing. So you have a lot to be thankful for and a lot to enjoy. So we wish you well in your retirement, and I'm sure we'll see you on the campaign trail. Thanks.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. Bob, I wish you the best. I think some of my colleagues said some good things about you, like I like ginger, open door policy. That's absolutely true. You can walk into Bob's office anytime and discuss anything. You gave me a lot of good advice, and then a few things that we debated. And even though when I walked out of the office, you still said, really think about it and take some time to think about it. And that's some good wisdom. I know Councilwoman Amobian said about you dropping things off at our houses. And over the years, you've done that for me. And I really appreciate that. Actually, you've done a few things for me too. When I was on vacation, you would drop off speed signs on devil strips throughout Akron if I was on vacation or something. So that's something that I don't know if you did for other colleagues, but Bob did do that for me. And then just to finish, Bob, I want to thank you for giving me one of the best suit tailors in Akron. I think he's located in Ward 1, but I know you gave me one of the best suit tailors out there, and I really like his service and been seeing him for a long time. You know who I'm talking about. So moving forward, I wish you the best. Tell Marilyn I said hi, and I love you and Marilyn both. So good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Connor.
I just want to say, I hope you have a wonderful time home with your grandchildren. And I wanted to thank you for all your kindness. We met many a times before I actually got down to the office to make sure all the buttons could be reached, all the doorknobs could be had. And I appreciate your kindness in making sure everything was accessible. Good luck. Have fun at home.
Councilman McKittrick.
Yeah, I too was appreciative of when Bob would drop stuff off at my house. I do recall the first time, though, I actually thought I must have done something wrong because I couldn't imagine why he was pulling in my driveway and coming up to the door. But I did appreciate that. I heard some other words of wisdom. Listening to Marilyn, it'll get you a long way. It'll keep you out of trouble. And by all means, don't let your dog bite the UPS man or any other delivery people. So, but take care and enjoy retirement.
Thank you.
All right. Has everyone had an opportunity to say something? I don't see any more hands. So at this time, wow, we would love to hear from you. I got the timer on too.
You got 3 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to thank all of you people. It was great working with you. I'll miss you. I love serving people, whether it's with pizza, suits, or politics. It was a good run. I had about 20 years in pizza, 10 years in the suits, and about 28 years as far as politics go. So it was a good mixture. They all overlapped. And it was a lot of fun. And if your job's not fun, get the hell out. I'm just telling you, because you won't last. But I had a blast. I enjoyed working down here. I enjoyed the average Joe coming in, looking for something, or if we could help him, we did our best to help him. And speaking of that, I just have one request from this body, is to make that little lady in the middle of the screen the next clerk of council. Sarah, you guys are idiots if you don't. And I know you're not supposed to say that kind of stuff on a live broadcast, but I said it because I'm leaving. So she does a hell of a job. Holly does a hell of a job. So you won't miss a beat as long as you got Sarah at the wheel. So I really appreciate. I loved working with you guys. There's a lot of pictures I flipped through. Mr. Mayor, you're in a couple of the pictures I have of group pictures of when you were on council. I could share that with everybody if you'd like. And you probably wouldn't like that. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good time. I have, what do I have? 4 grandchildren, 1 on the way. And my one son's lagging a bit. He's not producing. So we got to kick him in the butt. And tonight, my granddaughter was supposed to play, girls softball, fast pitch, and they got rained out. Otherwise, I'd have been aching to get out of here to see her. So everybody, I'll stay in touch. I'll be down here a few more times, I'm sure, to drop off my car and whatever. So you can have the microphone back, Margot.
Thanks so much, Bob. We love you and we're gonna miss you. And we're just gonna give you a virtual round of applause for a job well done. Well done. We should have had you do one last roll call for us though. You wanna do that for us, Bob?
No, that's
One
okay.
last. You sure?
That's it. You can all go home. You're all dismissed.
All right, well, perfect. The
Let
rules
the
have
next
been
clerk do it.
suspended. The rules have been suspended. I think we might want to make a motion for mayor and council as a whole, I'm assuming.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
wonderful. We got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Homobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville. The resolution passes 12-0. Congratulations, Bob. Item number 1 is offered by Mayor Horrigan and President Somerville. Resolution honoring the life of Ward 1 Councilman Rich Swirsky and recognizing his many contributions to the Akron community, expressing condolences and sympathy to the family of Rich Swirsky on his passing and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
The committee's report is favorable and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilman Freeman?
Probably, in my years on council, probably the saddest resolution that's ever been brought in, and deep sorrow and heartache for the people of Akron, for the Swirsky family, and this council feels that as well. I would throw it back to you, President Somerville, for any comments.
Thank you so much, Councilman Freeman. Definitely, echo those very same sentiments. We kind of had an opportunity to share during committee, some of those really great stories about Councilman Swirsky. So again, many of us had the opportunity to attend his celebration of life service, which was absolutely beautiful. Councilman Swirsky will definitely be missed here in council chambers, in Ward 1 and in the city of Akron and beyond. And so I will truly miss him. I will forever hold dear his many words of encouragement, which is needed in this type of work. But I also will always appreciate his dedication, his boldness, and just his sense of humor. And so he would truly be missed. And so I do want to take an opportunity at this time just to open up the floor if there's any other council members who too want to share something this evening. Mayor Horgan, we'll start with you.
Thank you. As we talked this afternoon, and then, Rich's passion for the work that he did was really unprecedented. But to hear he had an equal or greater passion for his family. If you listen to Sarah and David and Becky about how much of an impact he had on their lives, and just took the role of fatherhood seriously, took the role of a passionate, a council person seriously. Everything he did, he took very seriously and put everything into it. And that's really modeling for all of us, because, we all signed up for public life, and he took that very serious and did it not just fair. He did it great. He really did it great on all the things he did. I'll miss that. Like I said, I never won an argument with Rich. I just hope to be able to escape it unscathed. But he taught me a lot of things about, how to be passionate, and I'll miss him. I'll miss him dearly.
Councilman Neal.
Thanks, Madam President. Echo a lot of the things that were said by folks this afternoon. And to the mayor's point, I mean, what higher praise can you get than from your children? I mean, that says a lot. We're a failure if we save the world and lose our family, but he definitely blessed the world with two beautiful children that will contribute and carry on his legacy. You know, the one thing I didn't hear anybody say, and Rich isn't here to defend himself, but the thing that got me about Rich is he would always he'd tell those corny jokes and start laughing before he was ever finished. And I don't know if I'm the only one who caught that, but he get ready to tell a joke and he's laughing before he even tells it. Then the joke to me wasn't that funny. I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss his laugh. But I think the message that Rich leaves for all of us is carpe diem, seize the day, because no man knows the day nor the hour. When the Lord's gonna call us home. And so while we have the opportunity to serve, we gotta serve like today is our last day. If we want to honor his legacy, even if we all don't always agree, but if we can serve with sincerity and understand that today, I heard someone say, Rich served, be it no matter what the call was, the level of severity or seriousness, he served them all the same. Understanding that when someone reaches out to us as a collective council, we do our most to be expeditious and serve them to the best of our ability. I think that's the highest honor we could give to him, outside of remembering to take care of our families the way his family said, the way he took care of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, Councilman Neal. Councilman Mallett?
Thank you, Madam President. A lot of folks have mentioned, Councilman Swirsky's focus on his family. And before I knew him as a council person, I knew him as David's dad, my friend's dad. And, it's so clear that this is someone who was so devoted to his family, but also to the broader family that he constructed within his Highland Square community and across the city, and with all of us who were blessed to know him. I wanted to share one story. Last year, there was an issue, repeated violence at one home here in Ward 8. And I was really frustrated. There were a lot of neighbors calling. It's a very difficult, complicated issue. And I called him, and I must have spent 10, 15, 20 minutes complaining about this and just kind of laying this thing out. And he was very clear. He said, Shamus, there's actually, it's really interesting that you bring this up, because there's actually kind of like a book or a manual that addresses this specific issue. And I was like, really? And he's like, no, this is a really hard issue. There's no manual. You're supposed to talk it out. You're supposed to figure it out. And he spent the next half an hour, offering ideas, offering advice, just kind of thinking it through. But he was always there, like President Somerville said, with that sense of humor to break the ice, but also willing to put the time and put the work in and put, it's an issue that's not in his ward. He has plenty of issues in his ward, but he's willing to sit there and offer so much advice. So I appreciate it so much. And I know the city is so much better off for it. And so I hope, as Councilman Neal mentioned, as others have mentioned, we keep that, those things that he advocated for in mind. I'm sure we all will, but his love for the environment, his endless, references to police walking patrols and bike patrols, there's so many things, but his memory, will live on. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Samples?
Thank you, Madam President. Rich and I both ran at the same time. We came on council at the same time. He was sworn in a couple months before me because there was a vacancy. Outside of knowing who he was, the person, the activist, and fighting for Highland Square, and as with the Taco Bell, Rich Swirsky, he stopped the Taco Bell from coming into Highland Square. My first interaction with Rich was during the first annual Porch Rockers. And there were people all over the neighborhood with these Swarovski t-shirts on. And he was standing up on these stairs, and I walked by with my family and we've got my t-shirts on. And he's like, "Hey, who are you? Are you running for my ward?" And I said, "No, sir, I am not running against you." That was my very first interaction with him. He just had this way of his humor and his sarcasm you had to be able to get, or it would offend you if you didn't get it. I got it, and I appreciate that I did. I had a very good relationship with Rich, and I appreciate that relationship. I appreciate his relationship with his children more than anything. He was a good guy. It will be very hard to fill his shoes, very hard. So we as a council, I'm hoping that we will support David and Sarah. They have a memorial garden for Rich. I'm going to send you all the link. I hope we all will participate in that. I hope we all will donate to that so they can finish this memorial garden for their dad. He was a dad first, and that's why I loved him. Even down to the very last day when he was no longer with us, he still kept that sense of humor. I was able to sit with him on that Sunday before he went away, and he still had that dry sense of humor. I asked him, could I hold his hand? He said, yeah, only for a little bit though. So I held his hand for a little bit. He said, okay, that's enough. And we laughed. And I will remember Rich for being that person, not only a community activist, but mainly a good father and a great husband. So I do hope that we will support this memorial garden that his children are putting in place for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McKittrick?
Thank you, Madam President. Earlier today, I heard one of my colleagues, Councilwoman Connor, talk about how Rich reached out to her to meet early on when she came on the council. He did so with me as well, and I was impressed with that. And we sat for over 2.5 hours and talked, and he gave me some very wise information. And I knew at that time that he was an exceptional individual. And we can look over the years, you can look in Ward 1, and there's an abundance of people who would be able to serve on council, but for him to run unopposed makes a huge statement that people felt they were very satisfied with Councilman Swirsky, and nobody wanted to run against him. And then for him to come back and when he was really struggling during his sickness to vote, that speaks volumes about his character. But one of the things he really made me chuckle about was at his drive-through birthday event. And I had forgotten all about this, but he said it was a little difficult for him as a Jewish man to dress up as Santa Claus and ride around on a fire truck in Highland Square on Christmas. But he said he did it for the people. And he's truly, he was a man for the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. McKittrick. Councilwoman Amobian? Councilwoman Amobian, you're on mute.
Thank you. Just as others have said, it was a joy working with him. And the service yesterday was a true reflection of all the diversity that was in the room and the mixture of music, Bob Dylan's words and songs. And I was thinking as Sarah was speaking yesterday, we were having one of our sessions on the reimagining policing, and Rich and I co-chaired the prevention subcommittee. And he was really trying to figure out how we could incorporate more social services. And he reached out to this small law enforcement, I think it's on the border of Indiana and Kentucky and Ohio. But anyway, we were able to get the chief to talk about how they have a social worker on staff. And then we invited the quick response team, and he was so excited and taken aback by that group that his daughter had worked with them, and he got her on the phone, and we Zoomed her into the session as we were meeting that night, and that was very special for him. And it's truly a reflection of what she talked about yesterday. Telling her father that she did more therapy than he did. But it was great working with him on that project. And you could tell he was pouring his heart and soul and trying to figure out how can we get police officers to do more policing and get social service organizations to help us out with that. So I will remember that about him. Thank you.
Councilwoman Baylor?
I just wanted to say, in addition to what I said earlier today about Rich, even though he was a fireball, he was so well respected. And Councilmember Kittredge, he alluded to that by him running unopposed. The people were very satisfied with him as a council person and you know, and how he dealt with them. Even the brassiness, I think, you know, he gained a lot of respect because people could trust what he was going to say, because he never changed the way he was, no matter what the issue was, no matter how hard he had to come to you with the information, in favor or not in favor, he was still Rich. But in all that brassiness, there was this kind, gentle spirit that he had, and it came out from time to time. I recall when he had gotten sick. I didn't know how sick he was. I didn't know it was terminal or anything, but he just had been missing from council. And I reached out to him like, hey, I'm praying for you. I don't know what's going on. You haven't been here, but I just want you to know that I'm praying for you. And he's just like, oh, that is so sweet. Thank you for thinking of me. I mean, that gentleness, it was part of who he was too. And his family alluded to that in the things that they testified about their, you know, about him at his home going. So I just wanted to add that to what I had said earlier.
Thank you. Councilwoman Connor?
As I listened to everyone here talk about Rich Swirsky and talk about his kind, welcoming of all people, the love of him and his ward, the only underlying word is kindness. His kindness and gentleness were just unsurpassed. And that's what allowed him to be welcoming to everyone. I only hope that all of us will remember that and emulate his kindness to everyone.
Thank you. Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you, Madam President. Again, I just want to say that I am going to miss Rich. Again, he was so welcoming. We shared a couple lunches from his and mine favorite restaurant, DeVita's. And, you know, he was just all about, you know, helping me get started. And I really appreciate that from him. So he'll be truly missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco?
Yeah, there's really, I don't know what else to say, just that, you know, the sadness that we all feel, share that with everyone here. And, you know, he could fight us, as Mayor had mentioned, you know, he would fight with all he had. However, at the end of the day, he's the kind of guy to come up and put his arm around and say, okay, you won or he won. Either way, it didn't matter. It didn't matter to him because he knew, and he was, you know, that it was all about the city, and win or lose, it didn't matter. And so he soldiered on. But I would just like to respectfully request that this be mayor and council as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. So we do have a motion on the floor for mayor and council as a whole. Can we get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Hemer.
Aye.
Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This resolution passes 12-0. Item number 2, offered by President Somerville. Resolution providing for and setting June 21st, 2021 as the date of the election by council to fill the Ward 1 vacancy and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Councilman Freeman.
Yes, our rules require that we do fill the seat vacated by the loss of Rich Swirsky, and this would keep us in compliance with our rules, and we're asking for its passage.
Thank you so much, Councilman Freeman. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Taylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hemer,
Aye.
Lombardo,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This resolution passes 12-0.
Thank you so much. Councilman Neal, I see your hand.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. Just wanted to, I know we have a committee. I don't know if the committee's going to consider, this is kind of a follow-up to the conversation you and I had. As we, believe it was Councilman McKittrick spoke of the wealth of just engaged individuals in Ward 1 who possibly may be putting their names in the hat for to serve in Rich's seat. Excuse me, not Rich's seat, Ward 1 seat, but to replace him. And as I just want to put this out there. We've set a precedent with the last 2 vacancies that we feel where we, and I think it was a healthy precedent where we filled that seat with a placeholder. Someone who said they would not run so that it could be a equal and as close to equitable opportunity for folks to run from the seat. Because when you run as a incumbent, there is some advantage there. And so I just, before we have any names or anything, just would like for council to think as we talk about creating equitable policy, that that may be a good thing for us to consider. The precedent that we set with the last 2 vacancies, where we filled those with placeholders, especially in this case, this is a normal that the vacancy is going to be filled by someone for a year and a half. So just my thought.
Thank you so much, Councilman Neal. Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville, and I respect, excuse me, Councilman Neal's comments in reference to that. I just want us to bear in mind that this person will need to run in 22 to fill the year 23, and then in 23 they'll need to run for the 4-year term. So they'll be running back to back, in essence. Man, I didn't say this earlier, but in all my years being on city council and everything, those were without question 2 of the, this one and the last one, 2 of the hardest yes votes ever. I tell you, it's, you think about Rich and everything, and just it kind of hits you, it's hard. But thank you for your comments, Mr. Neal. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Malik.
Thank you very much. And just in regards to the last two comments, I just, I certainly appreciate where Councilman Neal is coming from, and, certainly, think that that's important to consider. And at the same time, there are going to be, several elections, as Councilman Fusco mentioned. I guess the one thing I just like to add my 2 cents is that, I guess if there is someone who specifically says that they, would only want to be a caretaker, for the next year and a half, I think it's important to not dismiss that out of hand. I think, there are some people who probably will want to run, and there's probably some people who would be willing to do it for a year, but maybe not permanently. And so I think, this is obviously a rush and a shock, and so I think that we just, and I'm sure the committee will weigh all of that. So just wanted to share that thought.
Councilwoman Amobian.
I just want to say that certainly I don't disagree with my colleague and what he's referencing, but this is such an unusual circumstance that I don't know who is going to come forth. But I certainly don't want to dismiss anyone that comes forth and we think this person would represent the ward well and would like to continue to be in the seat. So I just don't want the committee just to dismiss those people out of hand, or even think about them just being a caretaker of the ward. I just think this is so unprecedented that, whoever comes forth and the committee thinks is worthy, I would just like for them to have the opportunity to serve. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Amobian. I know we mentioned this earlier during committee, but want to mention again, Akron City Council will be accepting applications and letters of interest up until June 14th, 4:30 on that day. We have selected a 5-person committee. Councilman Fusco will chair the committee. Also in that committee will be myself, Councilwoman Connor, Councilwoman Samples, and Councilman Kamer. And so again, Councilman Fusco will be in contact with committee members in terms of setting up days in which we will hold interviews. So at this time, we will move on with the rest of our agenda, planning and economic development.
Item number 4 is a substitute offered as an amendment offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a horticulture and volunteer center at 714 North Portage Path and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
I think you referred, I believe we referred that earlier, but the request of the committee is to refer.
This item be referred.
Item number 5 offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement or agreements with Akron and Brewing LLC, modifying the terms of a lease agreement related to 58 East Market Street, Akron, Ohio, 44308, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
The agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 6 offered by Fusco. Ordinance approving the sale of city-owned property to Zachary Aitken, determining said property is not needed for public use and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
The agenda.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda. That concludes our new legislation for this evening. We'll now move to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. And our clerk will play in comments received for this evening.
I am Bill Nesbitt at 330-379-2235 and 1155 Diagonal Road, Akron 44307. On behalf of Worcester community, our Akron community express our condolences and our wishes of most comfort for the family of Richard Sorsky and all of you. And I personally was given in particular aid, or Richard went out of the way to be of understanding and of aid, and my admiration for Mayor Dan Horgan pointing out Richard's character of care and courage for all. I think care and courage represents all of you also. Thank you for what you've done for our Akron and surrounding community. All of you have the greatest of comfort and blessings through this from winter to spring 2021 season.
Hi there, this is Nick Casiopo calling from 41 Marshall Avenue, Akron, Ohio, Ward 1. You already know I support people experiencing houselessness, and I don't believe we should be cutting paychecks to extremist militia members in the ranks of the APD. This week, instead, I'd like to take time to address Councilman Mike Freeman's comment from last City Council meeting. As you may remember, instead of saying anything in support of houseless folks or condemning extremist militia members in your police department's ranks, you decided to defend the terrible tax abatement policy. So I have to ask, Mike, do you actually know anything about the tax abatement policy? Have you done any research into the policy since it was enacted? I think the answer is probably no. Do you by chance know how many tax abatements the people of your ward have received? Do you have any clue? Ward 1 has received 87 tax abatements. 87. That's crazy. Ward 8 has received 59 tax abatements. 59. You want to take a guess at how many tax abatements your ward has received, Mike? Last time I checked, Ward 9 has received 5 tax abatements. You heard that right, just 5 tax abatements. Your ward has received the third fewest number of tax abatements out of all 10 wards. Your ward ranks number 7 out of 10 in total dollars of abated taxes. So congratulations, Mike. You're cheering on a policy that effectively means for the next 15 plus years, the people of Ward 9 will be burdened with paying a higher percentage of property taxes for services we all use, while the rich white gentrifiers in Wards 1 and 8 get to bask in the tax savings on their new $300,000 homes. I don't know about you, but that sure sounds a lot like some redlining shenanigans to me. So it really begs the question, who is asking you to defend a policy which doesn't help and most certainly will harm your constituents in the long run? It surely isn't the residents of Ward 9. If you would like to be educated on the policies that affect your ward and your constituents rather than regurgitating information filtered through the mayor's office, I'd be happy to chat with you at any time. If you had actually read the policy you so fervently defend, you'd know it explicitly leaves plenty of room to be changed and amended based upon new data and the needs of our communities. Thank you and have a good night.
Hi, my name is Christina Mariola. I live at 6296 Lakeview Drive in Kent, Ohio. I work with Serve the People Akron, and I'm calling because I was wanting to know what the city is doing to work towards sanctioning encampments for the houseless people in Akron. There was a lot of commotion going on last week about rumored sweeps and evictions happening on June 2nd, and luckily that did not happen. But meanwhile, people are living on edge. They're in fear that it could be happening at any time. So, City of Akron, what are you doing to make sure that these evictions and these sweeps will not take place? People living in these encampments need to be afforded the security that they won't be ripped from their living situations and evicted and displaced and put into more dangerous situations. In addition to that, what is the city doing to use the vacant and unused properties in Akron and turn those into community-controlled land trusts? It would be really beneficial to houseless people in Akron to have a place where they can live securely and without the fear of being violently evicted from their living situations. I look forward to hearing your response to this. Have a nice day. Thank you.
That concludes our public comment period for this evening. Again, we want to thank all of those who participated. All comments have been forwarded to the appropriate council person and department. At this time, we will go over our committee assignments, rules. Councilman Freeman.
2:30 p.m.
Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
1:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
Subject to call.
Public Service, Councilwoman Samples.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Freeman.
2:45.
Is there anything else coming before council at this time? Councilman Malik?
I just want to say something that has been on my mind and I think was just brought back into my mind in the last couple of minutes, which is that it's all well and good to talk about compassion and kindness in abstract and theoretical principles. But if you don't live it and actually demonstrate it in your actions, it means very little. And I say that with regard to that public comment.
Thank you, Councilman Malik. Councilman Kamer?
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to update council on where we're at with the continued discussion on gun violence. I did reach out to you to inform you that I was working with Deputy Mayor of Public Safety Charlie Brown. For the last couple of weeks, we've been having discussions. And as of right now, we will probably continue that discussion at a later date. Deputy Mayor of Public Safety Charlie Brown did meet with the senior advisors and high-ranking officers of the police department, and they feel like right now they cannot really give us any more details or discussion on gun violence. Deputy Mayor Charlie Brown did say if anyone has any questions, please reach out to him, but hopefully we can move forward and have those discussions when they're ready. Thanks.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Councilman Kamer. Councilman Neal? Councilman Neal, I think you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I'm using 2 devices because my battery ran dead on my computer. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, okay, thank you. I caught that jab from Councilman Phil Lombardo as well. So I do want to speak. I don't know if you read yesterday's paper, the Ohio Gatorade Player of the Year and up for National Player of the Year. A public school graduate, well, not graduate yet, but a public school student from Akron Bookwood. Just wanted to put that out there. Congratulations to Chris Livingston. And you know what? This is the beautiful thing about being able to be a fan. We're fortunate to live in a city with some talented people. I mean, when you look at a small city like Akron that's produced heavyweight champions, the best basketball player in the world, the first pro football championship came from Akron. History here. The highest coach here at Akron, I believe, history. So, but I call it Councilman Lombardo. So thanks to Mark Greer, as well as President of the Maple Valley Merchants Association, Finette Morris, and all those people there. And Lock 3, I invite everyone to come out and see how the copyright merchants, the Maple Valley merchants have been working. This weekend, from 12 to 7, there'll be a street festival where you can see vendors from businesses there and vendors in the community. And then at about 8:30, there'll be a movie in Kerr Park. So a nice family-friendly event. I'd like to invite you to come out and visit the ward.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Councilman Fusco?
Thank you, President Somerville. Before COVID, whenever we met, folks were told that before they testified, before they provided their comments to all of council after council was over, we had stated to those folks to be respectful and that to avoid personal attacks. And this was a personal attack. And I'm going to respectfully request that we review those rules and procedures so that this is avoided in the future, because again, we serve at the leisure of people. We want to hear all the voices. We understand that there's differing opinions, and we want to hear those. We want to hear those differing opinions. But in terms of personal attacks, I find there should be no place at all on this council, on the floor council, and I believe that we should review that. And I'm respectfully asking that we do that moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fusco. Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you, Madam President. So in the spirit of good sportsmanship, I just want to congratulate Mr. Neal and Buchtel and Chris Livingston. He's a very special player. He dunked on my son in eighth grade. So, but we are blessed in Akron to have many special players. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Samples?
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly want to let my colleagues know that not this weekend, but next weekend begins the weekend of Juneteenth. There will be celebrations going on all throughout the city of Akron. We are very excited about. From one end of the city to the next, you will have something to do. On Saturday, June 19th, got to highlight Ward 5 here, of course. The Summit County Public Health Department has come in and they are going to be doing vaccinations at our festival at Joy Park on June 19th. So if you have friends or family members or neighbors who have not received their vaccination yet, thanks to Health Commissioner Donna Skoda and her team, they will be setting up a vaccination tent right at Joy Park, and they will be administering the Johnson & Johnson's vaccination. One and done for those who want it. Hint, hint, Mr. Neal, just saying. And if you know someone, please tell them they will be there all day. The festival is from noon until 6 p.m. We will have live music. We have, of course, a splash pad, there'll be basketball and lots of vendors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Samples, for sharing. Is there anything else coming before council? I don't see any more hands. Councilman Fusco?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.